Hello and welcome to this explainer. I'm absolutely thrilled we're diving into this today because it's something that could literally, fundamentally change your daily routine. Let's be real for a second. If you've ever felt completely overwhelmed by the whole world of goal setting or positive thinking or trying to manifest success, hey, you are definitely not alone. So often we're told we need these super complex routines, right? Like a vision board so packed with magazine clippings you literally run out of glue, plus this exhausting, massive list of daily declarations just to get what we want. But what if we could simplify all that whole shebang into one elegant concept?
Is there one single affirmation powerful enough to cover every desire, goal, and area of your life? Think about it. Have you ever felt totally bogged down, feeling like you need a specific phrase for your bank account, a completely different one for your health, another one for your career, and then yet another one for your relationships? It's just a lot to keep track of. You end up juggling hundreds of different affirmations. But the source material we're unpacking today actually suggests a radical, incredibly simplified alternative.
Section 1, the ultimate affirmation, one phrase to rule them all.
Okay, let's dive into this. Instead of scattering your mental focus across a dozen different statements, you consolidate all of your energy into just this. Everything is always working out in my favor. Wow. Just take a second and really let that sink in. It's so simple, isn't it? It's elegant, concise. But hey, do not let its simplicity fool you. The true power of this affirmation isn't just mechanically repeating the words like a robot. The real magic, as our source material points out, lies in deeply understanding exactly what those words imply about your life and your reality. Section 2. Changing your default assumption. Rewiring your reality. So, to really get how this works, we need to look at how we process the world. When you affirm that everything is working out in your favor, you're making a bold, sweeping assumption. You are actively declaring that circumstances, people, life itself, none of it is working against you. Now think about how the average person reacts when things don't go according to plan. The second they hit a snag or maybe a delay, that old reaction kicks right in. They immediately assume something has gone terribly wrong. If a text isn't returned, boom, they assume rejection. Money is tight, they assume lack. Their default assumption just plunges straight into the negative. But with this new mindset, the assumption completely flips. A delay is no longer a disaster. It's just a detour, actually moving you towards your desired outcome. And this brings us to a massive shift in our internal dialogue. Instead of falling into that classic victim mindset and asking, ugh, why is this happening to me? You pivot entirely. You start asking, okay, how is this working in my favor? That one subtle shift completely transforms how you perceive reality. It puts you right back in the driver's seat, constantly looking for the hidden advantage in absolutely every situation. And this brilliantly illustrates why that shift is absolutely essential. See, your mind is essentially a highly advanced search engine, and it's constantly scouring your environment for evidence to support whatever belief happens to be dominant in your head. If you believe life is difficult, well, your mind will highlight every single hurdle to prove you right. If you believe nothing ever works out, or that people always disappoint you, your brain literally filters out the good stuff and only serves up proof of the bad. You are, quite literally, programming your brain's search history with your assumptions. But here is the incredible flip side to that. By repeatedly using our umbrella affirmation that everything is working out in your favor, you give your mind a brand new search query. Gradually, your perception fundamentally changes. Your mind stops hunting for proof of failure and instead begins looking for evidence of support, opportunity, synchronicity, and success. You literally train your brain to notice the positive proof that honestly was probably already there, just ignored. Section 3, the umbrella effect. One statement, infinite applications. Let's move on and see how this builds into the broader concept. Think of this specific phrase as a giant canopy, sheltering absolutely every specific goal you might have right underneath it. Imagine you want more money. Well, everything is working out in your favor. Imagine you desire a specific relationship, or maybe you're anxiously waiting for a pending job offer, or you're actively trying to improve your health. You don't need a separate complicated affirmation for every single one of these buckets. By affirming that everything works out in your favor, you are automatically covering the whole lot of them simultaneously. It is honestly the perfect balancing act. This phrase is broad enough to encompass absolutely every area of your life, but it still remains specific enough to generate a very real, tangible feeling of confidence and trust inside you. It doesn't feel vague at all. It feels profoundly reassuring.
Section 4, the secret to persistence, avoiding the common pitfalls.
Now, as great as this all sounds,
we absolutely need to address where things go wrong. Because just knowing the affirmation is only half the battle. This is the trap so many people fall into. They diligently affirm that everything is working out for, about 5 minutes in the morning, and then they spend the next 10 hours obsessively worrying, complaining, and panicking when their immediate circumstances don't look perfectly favorable. I mean, it completely cancels out all the work they just did.
So, the crucial point is this. Doing that is exactly like planting a seed in the soil and then anxiously digging it up every 5 minutes just to check if it's growing yet. If you keep doing that, the seed is never going to take root. You have to let it be. You have to persist in your new assumption regardless of temporary setbacks, regardless of appearances, and most importantly, regardless of your own doubts.
Because we really have to remember the true mechanics at play here. The purpose of an affirmation is not to magically force reality to bend to your will in 5 seconds. The true purpose, by definition, is to establish a new dominant assumption in your mind. The source material emphasizes this brilliantly. The very moment your new positive dominant assumption becomes stronger than your old negative one, that is exactly when your external experience begins to reflect the change.
So, how do we apply this in real time? Well, the next time something unexpected happens, you have to resist the urge to declare it a disaster. When you face the pain of a missed opportunity,
You immediately answer it with, "It's working in your favor. It's making room for something better."
When you're sitting there totally frustrated by a sudden, unexpected delay that throws off your entire schedule,
you remind yourself it's working in your favor, it's aligning the timing perfectly. When life throws a massive curveball, an unexpected change that triggers all your anxieties,
you stand firm and declare, it's working in your favor. It's pivoting you toward exactly where you need to be. And finally, when you look at that massive dream, the goal that seems entirely impossible from where you're standing right now, you know the answer. It is already working in your favor. One single affirmation with absolutely infinite applications.
and that leaves us with this final, really powerful question to consider. What would change today if you genuinely accepted this? What if you stopped living in constant fear of shifting circumstances and instead started living from a rock-solid expectation of favorable outcomes? I challenge you to make everything is always working out in my favor your dominant inner conversation starting right now. Repeat it calmly, consistently, and completely regardless of what your immediate senses tell you. Try it, persist in that assumption, and just see what happens. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and I truly hope this fresh perspective serves you well today.